Hi everyone, I'm Punya Aggarwal, ACCA affiliate and one of the admins of Being ACCA. And in this video, we'll be discussing how to pass FR financial reporting paper, F7 paper in your skill level of ACCA. And I'll be discussing everything in brief, all you have to know before you start your paper of FR. So your FR paper is your basically financial reporting paper, and it is a base level paper. It is actually a level up of your F3 paper in knowledge level. If you haven't skipped it, you would know that this is a base level paper for your FR paper. Major the concept, which is your consolidation, has been covered in your FR paper. Now financial reporting is basically comprise your financial reporting basically comprises of your accounts. So if you're from a commerce background, you will love this subject because it is full of accounts and standards and balance sheet, financial statements, and all of those things. So your financial reporting consists of your majorly your IFRSs, your ISAs, your financial statements interpretation and everything. So these are the core thing of your financial reporting paper. Now your IFRSs and IAS are basically standards, international reporting standards, just like we have standards in India. Every recording that you do in your financial statements, balance sheet, P&L, all of those things, you have certain standards which govern those transactions. So in this paper, you will be learning everything about the standards, consolidation. Consolidation is nothing but your group accounts. Group accounts is basically talking about the parent company and the child entity or the subsidiary company. So you talk about the group accounts. So if you have done F3, you will be having a base of consolidation, which will be helping you a lot in financial reporting paper. Now there are certain students, there are I think more than 60-70% of the students who start with FR as their first skill level paper. Now in my opinion, that's the best strategy to go for, because FR has firstly good pass percentages as well. It boosts your confidence that okay, if it has 50% pass percentage, for example, I will be able to complete my paper. I will be able to, pass my paper with like good marks, and it just boosts your morale and your motivation as well. So this is your secondly, it is all accounts. We do not have anything new over here. For example, in FM or PM, we learn about, other things, management accounting, cost accounting, which is little new if you are starting after 12th, because in 12th, we do not have anything in relation to those areas. But in FR, you have everything in relation to your accounts only. So you get like better idea that okay, this I have already done, this I'll be doing. And your IFRSs play a major role over here. So now in FR, you will be learning the IFRSs and the ISAs from the scratch. And these are very, very important, not only for your FR paper, not only for your SBR paper in the professional level, but also your corporate life as well, because these are standards which are actually being used by the companies, by many of the clients and companies. And if you are working somewhere, you will be using these standards in real life as well. So this is not something that you're only doing it for the exam purpose or just to get like that 50% mark in your exam, but you're also doing it for your life ahead. If you're if you want to work in corporate sector, be it any company, because these are basics of how you make your financial statement. So if you go on to, if you are finding a job, for example, you will see that in the job description, the job description requirements is that you have a base of IFRSs or the ISAs, or somewhere or the other you would have also seen gaps. So these are all one and the same thing. Gaps a little different for sure, but IFRS and IS we learn in FR paper. And FR again, as I discussed, so first level is your F3 paper, which is in your knowledge level. Then is FR paper, which is in skill level. And then ISCA, your the last level is your SBR paper, which is strategic business reporting, which again is a final professional level paper, a compulsory mostly professional level paper. Now, how is FR exam structured is, 60% is your MCQs, just like any other skill level paper, plus 40% is subjective paper. Subjective in the sense that you'll be having two questions over here, and you have to solve it full-fledgedly, not like your MCQs. So that is another thing. Now there are major three important sections over here, sections in terms of the syllabus. For section B specifically, for your second part of this paper, one is your consolidation, which is very, very, very important. It will aram se account for 25 to 30% of your entire paper, which is very important. And consolidation is also very important for your SBR. So you have to have a very firm grip over consolidation concept. Second is your single entity. Again, this is very, very important. This will again account for at least 20 to 25% of your full paper, which includes your MCQs plus your section B of 40%. Then your last thing is ratios, interpretation questions. Again, this is also very important. Now there are students who take this ratios, section very lightly, because they think that, okay, we just have to calculate the increase or decrease in the, for example, if the, for example, revenue is given for 2004 and 2005, and this is 100, this is 200. So I'll just calculate the difference and tell that, okay, there's an increase. No, you also have to state why there was an increase and how there was an increase. You have to provide a justification for whatever you're writing, right? So that justification becomes a problem for many students, because they're not able to write that where did this problem come from, and that will only come to you when you practice a lot. So ratios are also very important and should not be taken for granted. So this was the gist of your paper, and how does it happen. So we talked about first skill level paper, we talked about the structure, we talked about IFRSs, everything. Now let's talk about what should be your strategy. How can you pass the paper with like good marks? How can you build your confidence over FR paper, right? So first thing is syllabus is very important. Syllabus completion is very, very important. I have seen certain students that they skip on certain portions of the syllabus, which is not recommendable at all. You have to complete full syllabus in order to, because if you go into exam with 100% of your practice, then only you'll be able to get at least 50% in your final result, right? So you have to complete the syllabus on time. I generally recommend students that your syllabus should be completed at least a month before your final exam. For example, if you are sitting for June attempt, your syllabus should be completed by the end of April or maximum first week of May. So your target should be end of April or first week of May maximum. Like, you should not exceed this time limit, because then you'll be having at least 3 to 4 weeks for your practice. Now let's come to the second point, which is practice, which is very, very important again, because it is a practical driven paper, numerical driven paper. You have to practice a lot. There are very few theoretical aspects to this paper which comes in your MCQs, but majorly I would say 70 to 80% of the paper is completely numerical. You have to solve it. So you have to do a lot of practice. So now, ma'am, where should I do the practice from? Your BPP kits plus your Kaplan kits plus your past papers, plus you can also go on to the study hub. But I think that this should be the last option once you're done with like all of the practices. So firstly, your BPP, Kaplan and past paper should be our priority for the practice. And then you can go on to your study hub. Now, third thing is again in relation to the practice and syllabus completion only. Practice should be done simultaneously. You should not do, like, for example, in full April, I'm just, ratifying the concepts and I'm just understanding the concepts, which is not done. I'll explain you the reason why. Okay, in FR, you have approximately 15 to 17 IFRSs and the ISS in total. They can be more also, but this is like the average that I'm telling you. Some of them are big, some of them are small, but approximately you have this much number of standards. Now, it is very important for you to remember these IFRSs, remember these ISs, and also remember the number, the name, what the description is, does this say, all of those things. Some of them are little technical as well, right? So now if you keep on just, memorizing, learning, and just watching the videos, eventually you'll keep forgetting them one after the other. For example, today I did IS 16, tomorrow I did IS 38, then I did 36. By the time that I reach 36, because I have not done my practice, I will keep on losing the grip of these IFRSs, which is again a waste of time. So practice should be done simultaneously. Practice plus revision should be done simultaneously. For example, if I'm today is day 1, I did IS 16. Today is day 2, I did IS 38. I also revised IS 16. It will not take me more than 15 minutes to do so, and then I can go on to the next concept. Or similarly, I can revise it for 10 minutes. I can do a practice of like 5 to 7 questions of IS 16 and then move to my next standard, right? So this should be your strategy, that you should practice plus revise simultaneously, which is very, very important for you to have a firm grip over the IFRSs and the ISs. Now let's discuss some of the IFRSs which I think are a little challenging in your paper, and you can put like more number of efforts in understanding and basically in understanding these IFRSs. So one is your IFRS 15, which is about revenue. Then you have IAS 12, which is about taxation. Then one is about your leases, which is again little technical as per my. This can be subjective for sure, but then these are some of the technical IFRSs. And one is about the financial instruments. Okay. So these are some of the IFRSs which are a little technical. So it will require a little more time for you to understand these IFRSs and the standards. But once you get a good grip of them, you will be able to solve them as well. So as I said that, practice should be done simultaneously. And if you do practice simultaneously, one, you're able to understand the concepts better. Two, you're able to give, get that motivation, that confidence also, that yes, I'm able to solve the question. So maybe I'm able to understand the concepts as well, right? Thirdly, you are able to revise them simultaneously as well. So you're not forgetting the earlier concepts. Fourthly, you're able to finish at least one of your kits, BPP or Kaplan, while you are already studying. So you have so for example, I will finish my syllabus by the end of April. So by the end of April, I'm not only finishing my syllabus, but I am also completing at least one of the BPP or Kaplan kits. So we generally recommend students to go for both the kits. Do not only touch one, because both of the kits have different types of questions. BPP is little trickier than Kaplan. So you should do both the kits so that you have a good practice. So by the end of April, you will be able to finish your BPP, plus you'll be able to finish your syllabus. And now for whole month, you have for Kaplan, which is practice, plus your other things as well, right? So let's discuss those other things. Now I'll give you a list of things which you should not skip before your final exam. First is your past papers. Very, very important. Very, very important. Your examiner report, very, very important. Very, very important. These will contain your MCQs plus your questions directly coming from the examiner who's checking your answer scripts. Very, very important. Then June or like pre-attempt mock, basically. Right? So this is the mock which ACCA officially releases from their end. And this mock is released 15-20 days before the final exam. So this is also very, very important. Plus essential questions, which is given by your tutor or which is given by somebody. We also at Being ACCA give few essential questions, which we have already posted a video upon. You can check for FR specifically. But these are some of the questions which are very, very important for your section section C specifically. And that should not be skipped at any cost. These questions should be done. And yeah, these are some of the prerequisites I feel which are very, very important. Now people also ask me that, ma'am, is technical articles also very important? I feel that technical articles are not very important for FR paper. For skill level papers in general, technical articles are mostly important for your professional level papers and not for your skill level paper. So that's that. So at least one mock should be done by you, and it should also be checked by someone. This is also very, very important. This thing is very important because that person will be able to guide you better, that okay, here you made a mistake, because you will be very reluctant to get your own mistakes corrected, right? You'll be thinking, chalo theek hai, kar liya, haan, ye mujhe pata hai. तो उससे आपको you do not get an idea exactly कि कितना marks you are getting in your mocks, right? So these are very important. So I think all in all, FR paper is now last question I want to address is FR difficult? I say no, it's not difficult. No paper in ACCA is very difficult. It can be different, it can be a little trickier. But if you practice, the more you practice, the less it is in any of the papers. The practice is the key. Keep on revising. Practicing plus revising is the key. Now, there are also students who ask me, ma'am, can FR be done in like 1 month? Can it be done in 1.5 months? See, months is not important. If you're able to complete your syllabus on time, if you're able to revise, if you're able to understand the concepts, if you're practicing, even 1 month is more than enough, right? So that is another thing. Now lastly, I would like to tell you one more thing about FR, that after FR people should always go with AA paper, which is your next F8 paper. These two papers are complementary papers. I came across few students who were doing AA before FR. I'll explain you a very simple logic for this, right? Let's see. In FR, you'll be studying the scratch, the basis of all of the standards, the IFRSs and the IAS, and how these are applied, like how, what all does it happen. For example, in IAS 16, we have it according to property, plant and equipment. According to IAS 38, what happens? According to IAS 36, what happens? According to IFRS 15, what happens? All of these things we learn in FR, right? And in AA, which is your audit and assurance paper, F8 paper, you learn how these standards are applied to real life scenarios, and you tend to take out mistakes that okay, this is something which the company has done wrong, right? So until and unless you know that about these standards in depth, about these standards, how are you going to take out the mistakes? It is a very, let's take a very simple example. If I am a teacher, I am checking your answer scripts, and till the time I do not know the concepts myself, how I am going to tell you that this is wrong, right? मेरे को नहीं पता होगा, मैं आपको कैसे बोलूंगी this is wrong? So similarly, if I am not aware of the standards, मेरे को ये पता ही नहीं है कि क्या होते हैं, तो how will I judge that okay, this is wrong, this is right? Simple, right? So you have to always do FR first, and after FR, always go with AA paper, because AA, again, when you go on to immediately go with AA, then you'll be having your IFRSs and the IS fresh in your mind, so it will eventually help a lot in the concepts of AA as well, right? So these were some of the tips that I wanted to give you for FR. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of practice, understanding the concepts. The pass rates are very good. If this is your first skill level paper, good to go. You have chosen the right paper, and all the very best. If you have any questions, any doubts in mind, you are free to comment down below, or you can also reach us out on our Instagram page, which is @beingACCA, and we'll be happy to help you.